In this video, I'm going to talk about the dynamic of the order flow. This is a game between smart money who are trying to buy and the smart money who's trying to sell. Basically, like a tug of war, who is going to win and how can we play with a winner and make our own money. In order to understand the dynamic of the market, of the order flow, who is in control of the market right now, the buyers or the sellers, we first need to understand that the market moves because of the aggressiveness. When we see buy limits or sell limits, those are the passive buyers or sellers. And when price is hitting the ask or the bid, someone is market executing, those are the aggressive buyers or sellers. We need to understand the process of absorption and displacement. So let's say we have some aggressive buyers pushing the market executing and pushing the market higher. At one moment, these aggressive buyers are going to face passive sellers. Basically, lots of sell limits that are placed that we can't see in the chart, but they are there. How can we identify if there are sell limits? Basically, because price is trying to go higher, there is a lot of volume, a lot of effort on trying to push the market higher, for example here, and let's say that price is not pushing through. Why is there a lot of effort and price not going higher? Well, basically because there is someone absorbing those longs. Now, this is not enough to confirm that price wants to go lower. This is just a sign of weakness, a sign that someone is absorbing this buying pressure. Now, let's imagine that there are positive news for the US dollar, for example, and price starts aggressively pushing higher like crazy. And at one moment, volumes remains being high, but price slowly, instead of pushing so higher, starts getting halted by the passive sellers. What does this mean? This means that obviously the sellers are absorbing. And it's not a coincidence that this usually tends to happen when there are news, because all the algorithms and all the speculators are trying to long at a potential breakout or a massive move that is about to happen. We need to confirm that the sellers are going to take control of this market by waiting for the aggressive sellers now taking control. So basically we need the passive sellers to work along with the aggressive sellers. Okay, so once we see this process of absorption, we need to wait for boom, the aggressive sellers taking control. But what is the problem? Nothing is so easy to move. At one moment, these aggressive sellers are going to be facing the opposite side, the passive buyers. Those who bought here, at one point, they will try to defend their area by absorbing these sellers. So this is when the most important part of the order flow comes into play. Understanding who is going to win, these sellers or these buyers. And how can we understand? What tools do we have to understand that? Well, Wyckoff is a very good tool. If we see a distribution on this process when the buyers try to defend this area, if we see a distribution, it means that price is likely going to continue going lower because the sellers are allowing price to push higher, forming, for example, a trend line. And by creating this trend line, the buyers are thinking that price is going to go higher, but at one moment, this trend line is going to fail and the aggressive sellers are going to appear one more time, showing their hand and saying, okay, we are going to keep on selling. It is at this moment where you need to be at the chart because this is when the bigger move starts. When the buyers stop buying, when the buyers understand that there is someone bigger who is about to sell because they can't go through, they can't pass through the aggressive sellers and the passive sellers. And when they stop buying, there is a much liquidity. They take out their buy limits, boom, the markets start going lower. Not only because of the aggressive sellers, but also these same buyers who are trying to buy here are going to close the longs as fast as possible. They don't want to be trapped here in the market that is going lower and they are going to be in a massive drawdown. So this is what we understand as a long squeeze, basically a bullish squeeze. So to summarize it, you need to understand or you need to identify, try to identify using volume and how the price moves, the passive sellers working with the aggressive sellers and the passive buyers working with the aggressive buyers. Once you identify these two levels, in the middle, when price is trying to go through higher or lower, that's when you need to identify if price is going to go higher or lower. If you have an accumulation, then price is likely going to push higher. If you have a distribution, then price is likely going to go lower. Now, of course, not always when you have a distribution, price is going to go lower. Sometimes, let's say we have a bearish point of interest here and a bullish point of interest here, and price trapped between these two levels. And we have some kind of distribution. Maybe you have an attempt to go lower here, but what happens? The buyers are still strong and they absorb all of this selling pressure on trying to initiate the move and then quickly reverse. But is there any way to anticipate this movement? Because graphically speaking, this looks like a perfect distribution. Yes, again, looking at volume, remember effort versus result. Price trying to go lower and there is no result and there is a lot of effort, then guess what? Probably the buyers, the aggressive buyers, are trying to push higher again, and that's when they're going to keep on moving higher. And it has all to do with the manipulation of the markets. The smart money is always capturing liquidity. Even let's say that price goes higher again and surpasses this high, we make a higher high. Even here, price can reverse again and go lower. It's all about the order flow, the dynamic of the market right now. What is the idea? You want to capture a move, an intraday setup or a scalp that turns into a bigger trade. And that's what I did on one of the trades I sent recently. I want to go over that now because it has to do with this process. Here on Smart Money Ideas, I posted, well, I had a very bearish bias. I posted this chart, price moved lower, but yesterday I was looking at a scalping opportunity, this one. So I was looking at the chart. We were on a bearish scenario. As you can see here, price moved lower, tried to push higher. We have aggressive sellers here. These aggressive sellers try to push the market lower but fail. However, they leave equal lows behind. So when they push higher, again here, you can see a price does make a higher high, but then tries to go lower again with aggressiveness. We have big spread candles and volume. Well, here I can't zoom here, but we have pretty nice volume. If you take a look at this move up, all of this is creating a trend line. So they are inducing buyers. Okay, there is no reason to think that these are actually passive buyers and aggressive buyers working together. You don't see big spread candles with high volume. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart now. So this is it. I was looking at the 15-second chart, so let's go back using the replay mode so it doesn't move much. And let's go back to the 15-second chart. Okay, here. So as soon as I see this break on market structure, you know I use market structure a lot. Okay. Here we had a bullish structure, high, low, boom, 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 boom. So I needed to wait for a proper break on market structure. We did have that, and volume was increasing. You can see we have a spike in volume right here at the top. On this tiny little candle is where we have the highest volume. Why the hell is there so much effort on trying to push higher and price not pushing higher? Passive sellers. What do we wait for? Aggressive sellers. Boom. The break on market structure confirms that the buyers are allowing price or letting go their own longs to allow price to push lower because now it's too late. And they are going to start selling to close our longs. So obviously they are not in a drawdown. And that's what happened. So what I did here, for example, in this trade, after taking the equal lows with the potential scenario where price comes back up to test or even to make another uptrust or even to reverse, because anything is possible in the market, I decided to obviously take partials. So I took partials somewhere around here, and then I kept on taking partials. Let me check very quickly. So this, I opened the trade here, I took a partial down here after taking equal lows, and then when price kept on moving lower, I took another partial here, and then I let it ride to hit my final TP, which is down here. Which, by the way, this is very interesting. You can see this massive candle here. This massive candle was produced by positive news for the US. Everyone was buying here. So what happened? We have very high volume, a lot of effort at the top. Price wasn't going higher, so I anticipated all of this beautiful move down, like I showed you before, which is basically this analysis. There we go. This is the bias that I had, and I took a different trade here. I also took another trade here trying to catch all of the move. But it's not a coincidence that all of this happened during the news. And well, for this trade, I had to close before Friday ended because I can't hold during the weekends. But my bias was to go below this low, which is the low that was created during the news. And if you start analyzing the market like this, it's easier to understand what is actually happening, because when you're looking at the consolidation, yes, you can see at the pattern, it looks like an accumulation, distribution, but then most of the time it doesn't work because patterns don't work. Patterns are just an illusion. Okay, what matters is who is in control of the market using mostly volume. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. If you have any question about this, let me know in the comments. And if you want me to do a video about a specific topic that you don't know about, or you want me to delve deep on any topic about trading, let me know also in the comments. Also, I trade live on my mentorship twice a week. So if you want to learn how I trade and also be a funded trader, check the link in the description.